Taj Washington didn't get the rookie season he thought he would have. The kind of year he'd been building toward for as long as he could remember, erased before it began. The 7th round of the 2024 draft brought him to Miami, a long way from Memphis and USC. But the moment was short-lived. An injury before training camp even got a chance to breathe sent him straight to injured reserve. No warm-up games. No chance to prove himself. No rookie welcome beyond a locker with his name on it and the slow, heavy walk toward rehab instead of the practice field. That first year was not a learning curve. It was a test of patience and persistence. While others fought for snaps and found their rhythm in the offense, Washington was left with the daily grind of recovery. The season passed without him taking a single snap, the sound of pads colliding and crowds roaring only reaching him through screens and distant echoes on game day. Fast forward 1 year. The scene is different. This time, Washington is on the field, helmet on, running routes with the urgency of someone who's had a taste of loss and decided it won't happen again. In training camp, he's been more than a background figure. In the preseason opener against the Chicago Bears, his presence was felt. 3 catches for 53 yards. Not just stats, moments that shift momentum, moments that make you take another look at the roster sheet and circle his name. The most memorable? A 3rd and long, the kind of down that usually ends in frustration. Zach Wilson finds him. Washington pulls in the pass, breaks into open field, and keeps moving, the yard markers flying by. 34 yards later, the Dolphins have a fresh set of downs. It wasn't just a play. It was a statement that he's not just filling a jersey. When he spoke after a joint practice with the Detroit Lions, his words were clipped, focused, almost stripped of anything that could be mistaken for self-congratulation. Taking advantage of the opportunity, putting the skill set on tape, reacting and playing the game. It's a blessing. It's rewarding. I put a lot of work in the dark to get back on the field. I'm grateful to show what I've been working on. Mike McDaniel saw it, and when McDaniel notices, it matters. I think some of his teammates really responded to both his practice in the joint setting and the game. McDaniel said. It was kind of his introduction to the team. They were juiced. That means he's capable of making plays. The word capable might sound small, but in the NFL, it's a door. Once a coach uses it about you, it's a sign that you've shifted from being just another camp body to someone worth watching closely. At USC, Washington wasn't just a contributor. He was the leading receiver. 59 catches, 1,062 yards, 8 touchdowns. He did it with Caleb Williams under center, the same Caleb Williams who went first overall in the 2024 draft to Chicago. Washington was used to being in sync with a quarterback who trusted him to make something happen. But that was college, where past success buys you time. The NFL doesn't care what you did last year, especially if last year you weren't even on the field. Rehabilitation is not the part of a career anyone wants to be remembered for. It's repetition, endless repetition. The same stretch over and over. The same cautious steps before you're allowed to push. Hours spent rebuilding muscles and reflexes that had been second nature. And over all of it, the silence of being out of the spotlight, when no one's cheering for you, and the only person you have to prove anything to is yourself. McDaniel has been around long enough to know how much work that takes. That gets your foot in the door in the process, he said. Taj is very focused on being a reliable playmaker that is fully tooled in all phases and is good with or without the ball. There's nothing better to me than being on the field with a guy that makes a play on the heels of an extended rehab. Everybody sees the catch, but they don't see the hours upon hours of work that goes into getting back on the field. For Washington, there's no safety net. His spot isn't guaranteed. The Dolphins' receiver room has its locks, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, but after that, the competition is open and fierce. Maybe the team keeps 6 receivers. Maybe it's 5. Washington is in the group fighting for those last spots, and every practice rep counts toward whether or not he's still in Miami when the regular season begins. He knows the stakes. He also knows what last season felt like, how the weeks seemed to stretch out when you couldn't play, how it felt to walk into the facility each day knowing you'd leave without a single rep in pads. It was definitely a challenge, Washington said, but I'm grateful for it. Made me more grateful for this now, grateful for this game. Learned a lot about myself and grew a lot as a player and person. Sunday's game was a start, but not a complete picture. Washington was clear about that. A lot to clean up. I feel like we left a lot of plays out there that were to be made. Now we've got an opportunity to respond tomorrow, so looking forward to it. In the building, those words matter. They tell coaches you're not satisfied with a good play here or there. You're looking for better. They tell teammates you're not just trying to hang on to a roster spot. You're trying to raise the standard. But none of that changes the math. August in the NFL is brutal for players on the edge. Every day is an evaluation. Every rep is a question. Is this the guy we want? And every mistake feels heavier when your margin for error is thin. Washington's case is built on more than just the last game. It's built on a year spent refusing to disappear. It's built on the small moments in camp when a quarterback looks for him in a drill, or when a veteran nods after a rep. It's built on the trust that, if the ball finds him in a crucial situation, he won't waste a chance. That trust isn't easy to earn in a room full of players all chasing the same opportunity. But Washington's path has made him different. He's not chasing just to prove he belongs. He's chasing because he's already seen how quickly it can be taken away. Every catch, every burst off the line, every adjustment mid-route is layered with the knowledge of what it's like to watch an entire season pass without being part of it. That changes the way you approach the work. It strips away any thought of coasting. And while the highlight against the Bears might have been the flashpoint for fans inside the building, the real test is whether Washington can keep stacking days like that. Consistency is the currency. If he can deliver it, the roster decision might start tilting in his favor. The reality is, in these last weeks before cuts, performances like his stand out, but only if they keep coming. One game won't save you. 2 games won't either, if the tape in between tells a different story. That's the space Washington is living in right now. Every practice is a new set of questions to answer. Every rep is a chance to push the decision-makers toward a yes. And after what he's been through, there's no indication he's planning to let any of those chances go to waste.